I want to talk about the sun and, as usual, about what they say that it is, what they tell us that it is, what we're told about the sun, about where it is, how far it is, and what it is. So, about where it is, that it's in this like imaginary space. Well, imaginary for people who believe like we do, but for you guys who believe the comic books you read, it's like a real place. And you watch Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars, and you think one day you're gonna fly off in a spaceship and go to visit other worlds. Keep dreaming, guys. I remember last 4th of July, or no, the one before, I was just like these people as far as being close to fireworks on the 4th. It's the closest I'd ever been. Usually it's like real far from me. But that 2 years ago, we got lucky and got a cool spot in Marina, right on the harbor, right under the fireworks. It was like I was like that close to it, and I remember really feeling how not just that I could see the fireworks, but I feel the blast. Um, the sound hits me after the light, but also the impact of the blast itself and even the heat from it I could feel. And it all happens because me and the people around me and those fireworks, we're all in the same environment. We're within the same atmosphere. The air molecules are touching and connected. They're touching me, touching all the people, and they're around those fireworks. So when those things react, they vibrate those molecules in certain ways, whether it's heat or light, or just the, the vibrating of the vibration of the blast itself, so that they can buzz one to the other like a chain reaction all the way up to me. So I feel it. If those were in a place, if there was a place like space and you set off those fireworks, you wouldn't feel nothing, man. So and then I realized, like, come on, the sun itself, the fact that I can feel the heat from it, not to mention, never mind the light, but let's just stick to the heat from the sun. When it's above me, I feel those warm sun rays right on my skin because it's traveling through the molecules of the air. It's heating them up and it gets to me. Between me and the sun, there isn't that much distance. Again, it feels in space, like they say, how could the heat get to me? By what means? By what medium? What wire is connecting us? Air is like a big wire that goes out in all directions. But there's like a wire, it connects you to the source of the thing emanating whatever effect it may be, light, sound, you know, the like I said, the blast. Without that medium, you ain't feeling nothing, man. And if any of you ever been close to fireworks, you know what I'm talking about. Think of the sun. It's the same way, man. It's in our air. And then I just want to look at what they write about it. Like it says here, if heat cannot travel through a vacuum, why does the sun feel hot? The outer space is a near perfect vacuum, so how does heat travel through space? A lot of people get befuddled by this question. In simple words, does heat need a medium to travel? If it does indeed, then how do sun's heat rays travel through the vacuum of space before reaching Earth? The answer is quite simple. Heat is a form of energy released from the sun and travels through radiation, which is why the sun feels hot. Oh, okay, thanks. Great answer. I think they mean it travels by means of radiation, but either way, what? They need to make a story to explain their fake world, because we know that we need particles of air within a medium, or water too. You could be in water and get boiled. Just takes a little longer. Light acts differently in water also, in sound. it works, but it's kind of a different, it sounds different, sound and heat also. It'll get to you, but it maybe takes a little longer, and it doesn't get as hot as air can get. Um, but they need to create a reality where the sun is existing in the vacuum of space. So they got to like make stories. These are just little stories to make their fake world work. But when you think about it, like, I'd like someone to show that to me. Show me how this heat travel in a vacuum, and I'll shut my mouth. Nobody can do it though. Here's another weird thing like about it that I think about something. This is a little bit on the side note. I mean, what's powering the sun? When the hell is it going to cool down? It's just that the core of the sun is so hot and there is so much pressure. Nuclear fusion takes place. Hydrogen is changed to helium. Nuclear fusion creates heat and photons, light. The amount of solar heat and light is enough to light up the Earth's days and keep our planet warm enough to support life. Another nice story. But that according to their story, that sun's been there for like a zillion years. When's it going to cool down already? What battery is keeping it going? The nuclear fusion? What does that mean? How come they can't make it? We have nuclear stuff on Earth. How come we don't have perpetual energy systems? They just keep going. You know, look, there's like this picture here. You know, there's pictures of this, like this of Earth too, with this like molten hot center. When is that going to cool down? It's been like molten hot for billions of years. Well, it's really big, and the sun is really big. Is it? Compared to what? You guys like to say stuff is big and far, but also when it serves your story, well, you're so minuscule in proportion to the size of the universe. Well, how about we use your argument now against you? The Earth and Sun are like minuscule in comparison to the universe you believe in. So it's really small, actually. It's not really, really big. It's really, really, really small. When's it cooling down? What engine is keeping that middle hot like that? Nuclear fusion? That's a nice word. What does that mean? You guys make up words like electromagnetic waves. This is how heat travels through space. Sounds fancy, that word. Doesn't mean anything. Like gravity. Doesn't mean anything. It's a word you made up to describe something in a story that isn't real in the world we live in. What else we got here? I didn't read this one. I don't know why I had this one, but I'm gonna read it. I forgot. Thermal radiation is also known as heat. The emission of electromagnetic waves. There's that word, that fancy word. Electromagnetic waves. I'm impressed, man. That word sounds fancy. It must work. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it has to do with light, but they want to make it mean heat also because they need heat to go through the vacuum of space. Anyway, thermal radiation, also known as heat, is the emission of electromagnetic waves from all matter that has a temperature greater than absolute zero. Electromagnetic radiation, including light. It is light. They would call it light, but now they call it heat also. Does not require the presence of matter to propagate and travels in the vacuum of space indefinitely far if unobstructed. Nice story. You need that story to create your fake comic book universe that doesn't exist. You need electromagnetic radiation to travel indefinitely as long as it's unobstructed in the vacuum of space. Because we know that we need molecules, air molecules, to so that we feel stuff, so that we're all connected by this soup we're in. The atmosphere, the air. It's the wire that connects everybody. You know, the fairy tales you guys believe in are for dummies. If you think about it, I'm wrong sometimes, man. But most of this stuff I've been right, and nobody can prove me wrong. And when I'm wrong, I admit it. I come out and I admit it. Let me see you guys prove me wrong on this one. How can anything travel through a vacuum of space? You can read about it on a some words you read on a piece of that you're reading from on a piece of paper in a book. Show me how that works. Show me an experiment where there's a near vacuum and they're conducting heat from one side to the other. Then I'll believe it. And you should be able to show that evidence to me, but you can't.